Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm talking about 12 natural hair do's and don'ts. You see, natural hair is beautiful in all its diversity. Whether you have tightly coiled hair like myself, commonly referred to as kaweke, or you do have a loose or wavy curl, or you do have a glorious afro, or you even have lash locks. In fact, good hair is healthy hair. And growing healthy hair doesn't happen overnight. You know the saying, patience is a virtue. Well, the same can be said about your natural hair care routine. Just like you don't see immediate results after one workout, growing natural hair requires consistent effort. You know, there is no shame in not knowing all the answers when it comes to natural hair care. A healthy hair journey comes with a ton of trial and error. Mistakes will be made. Every style won't come out the way you saw it on somebody else or on a YouTube channel you saw somewhere. And there'll be damage along the way. And it's all okay. No one ever said growing and maintaining natural hair was a walk in the park. That said, embracing your natural hair doesn't have to be a pain either. What you should or should not do to your natural hair has to do with your hair products, the tools that you use, and the steps in your maintenance. Now, with all that said, let's get into the do's and the don'ts. Number one, do detangle with care. Detangling consistently and with caution will help in the growth of your hair and its retention. And why I say it's important is because once you tug at your hair, while you pull at it, first of all, there's going to be pain. And really, detangling, by the way, is just the process of combing through your hair, either using your fingers, or say a wide tooth comb. It's wide tooth, or you could use a detangling brush of any kind. This is one of the ones that I use, but it's mostly just to help you to remove any tangles that in your hair, because natural hair easily tangles. And so basically working to make sure that you don't have tangles will help you to have hair that is easy to manage. And also, while it's, for instance, on your wash day, it will be easy for you to actually wash your hair without too much struggle. And it's also important, especially if you have slightly long hair, that you do the detangling in sections. So the way you see, for instance, my bud two knots, which are in sections, when I'm going to wash my hair, I will not undo everything and then begin detangling. I will take down each bantu knot and detangle as I go throughout the whole head. It helps make it much easier and even faster for you. Number two is do cleanse your hair and your scalp regularly. Now, this is very important because, your scalp sweats. There's dirt that is accumulated. You have product buildup from all the products that you're using, and therefore your scalp collects all of that. And so it's important that you regularly wash your hair with a shampoo, preferably a gentle hydrating shampoo, because then you don't also want to get a shampoo that completely dries your hair, because remember, natural hair already is dry. So if you're using one that is not moisturizing, it's going to worsen the situation for you. So make sure you look for one that is moisturizing or gentle on your hair and your scalp. And this is very important because it helps to clarify your scalp, which helps your hair actually grow healthy and longer. Because once it's blocked, then there's no way your hair is going to grow long. Number three is do regular trims. Even I am a culprit of this. I haven't trimmed my hair in a long time, but it's very important because guess what? It helps you to get rid of split ends or frayed ends, which eventually leads to hair breakage. And this is very important because if you leave your split ends in the hope that perhaps you're cutting off your hair and then you're not seeing much of it growing, you actually doing yourself a disservice, because as the hair continues to split, it starts from the end and then continues all the way to the root. And imagine all the work you put in will be for nothing. So do regular trims. I personally do at least maybe twice or thrice a year, but it can also be dependent on how your hair is, whether it's thriving or it's you're suffering with it. So regularly trim it. Number 4 is do moisturize your hair regularly. Now, moisturizing means basically just hydrating it, and this you could use either water or you could use a product. And I normally say to people, your best moisturizer is water, and water is inexpensive. Almost all of us have water available to us. So just get your bottle, a bottle like this, and slightly spritz your hair. Don't drench your hair like literally water dripping, just slightly. And then either get your cream and then seal in that water and apply the cream after you've applied the water, or an oil. Many people do this mistake and apply and think that oil is a moisturizer. Oil is not a moisturizer. Oil is actually usually a sealant. So what it does is it seals in the moisture that you're putting in your hair through the water. So do this regularly. If you, I'd advise at least daily, but if you can't, at least once every 2 days. So if you want, also you can do twice every day. So that's in the morning and in the night before you go to sleep. And I guarantee you, moisture with hair that is moisturized, you are actually going to see your hair thriving, and it's going to look healthy and it will be happy. Number 5 is do weekly, bi-weekly or monthly deep conditioning treatments. These are basically the same treatments that you used to do, for instance, if you had relaxed hair and you transitioned from relaxed to natural hair. And this ranges from really, and it's, I say this because it's a very, very important part of the natural hair journey, because once you do these treatments, your hair is actually able to keep moisture in longer, because it infuses moisture into your hair and you're able to have this moisture in your hair for some time. So if you've done it weekly, it means it takes you a couple of days before your next deep conditioning in the next week. And deep conditioning ranges from products that you can find. Some of them sometimes have words like deep treatments, conditioning treatment, or hair mask. And then also you have the options of DIYs. Speaking of DIYs, I will definitely be sharing with you guys a couple of DIY recipes that I've used for treatments. And another thing that's important to note is that you should alternate between moisturizing deep treatments and protein deep treatments, because you can't have too much of one. And for me, for instance, who has low porosity hair, I need to be doing more moisturizing treatments and less of protein deep treatments. So it means, for instance, I can do one protein deep treatment in a month, and then all the other 3 weeks I'm doing moisturizing deep treatments. It basically just helps to have the balance of moisture and protein in your hair. Number 6 is do not use direct heat on your hair often. I know this is a topic that several naturalistas have differing opinions, and personally I stay away from direct heat. And by direct heat I mean blow drying, curling irons and flat irons on your hair. The reason why is because you are applying too much heat to your hair, which can cause irreversible heat damage and also might change your hair porosity. Applying too much heat to your hair will affect your hair, because remember, our natural hair is already dry, and so if you're removing the little moisture that's in there, your hair is literally going to be very dry and brittle. And I understand that here sometimes we want to have a straight, long hair, and yes, you can do that, but make sure that you don't do it often, because when you do that, then you're causing more damage to your hair. And so please be aware while you're using heat, direct heat, especially to your hair. Number 7 is do protect your hair at night. Yes, ladies, I know. This is a touchy one for many ladies because, first of all, some don't like the idea of wearing a hair bonnet at night because they're complaining of, heat, or it doesn't stay, all night. But it's very, very important that you actually cover your hair when you go to sleep. And the best options that are available are silk and satin. So silk is definitely quite expensive, so there's a cheaper option, which is satin, and so you have the option of a satin bonnet, and this is just one that you get to cover you get to place it on your hair and tie it, not too tightly but tight enough so that it doesn't fall off while you're tanning in the middle of the night. And then you have the option, so if bonnet is a problem for you or a headscarf, then you could consider using a satin or a silk pillowcase. That way you get to enjoy sleeping without anything to your hair. However, just make sure that your hair does not slip off the pillow, because guess what, when you sleep on a cotton pillowcase, then there's friction between your hair and it causes breakage, and because it's snagging. And also, have you noticed, like for instance, once your hair, the day probably come from the salon and you sleep and you wake up in the morning and find an oil stain on your pillowcase? That's what happens. So with cotton, it pulls out all the moisture from your hair, and basically the work you could have done during the day of applying all the moisture or just before you went to sleep will be all lost while if you sleep on a cotton pillowcase. So make sure that you protect your hair in the night so that your moisture is retained even the next day. Number 8, don't dry your hair with a regular bath towel. Now the reason for this is because you will find that when you use a normal towel, as you're drying your hair, first of all, it's pulling out too much water out of your hair because you used to dry anyway, and it is also causing your hair to get snagged into the little fibers in the towel. The alternative options you have is using a microfiber towel or a normal cotton t-shirt. So an old t-shirt that you have would be a really good one for you, because then you just tie it through your hair after you've washed your hair, and just remove any excess water that might be dripping down. So because then you have to leave just a bit of water to your hair, because while you're applying your products, your hair should be slightly damp. Number 9 is do wear protective styles. Now protective styles could be anything ranging from a long-term style in terms of, say for instance, a crochet style. This is the one where they plait cornrows and then add extensions to it. The reason why, for instance, it's a personal style that I usually go to is because it's very that the scalp usually is not pulled too much, especially if you go to a salon where they know how to deal with your natural hair, because you could paint cornrows and they could be tight, but making sure you tell them to plait the cornrows loosely so that it's not really tugging at your scalp. And so you could wear this for maximum usually should be a month. It shouldn't exceed that, because beyond that then there might be some issues. So also there's the option of low manipulation styles, and that could be anything ranging from, for instance, what is on my hair today. There's a bantu knots, where you could do twists, or you could do a twist out, or it could be a bantu knot out. It could be even just any puffs holding of your hair. So the idea is basically to protect the ends of your hair. So protective styles are basically just to help you, because your ends of the hair are the most they are sensitive to breakage, and they're the oldest part of your hair. So just helping to tuck them away helps with the retention of your growth, and just ensuring that you don't, it's not, for instance, loosely, if it's long enough that it touches your cloth or your shoulders, then the more it rubs, then the more breakage you're going to have. So just making sure that that's why you see most natural hairstyles are either an updo or it's plaited in a certain way, basically just to help you keep your hair away and not have your fingers in your hair all the time. Number 10 is do pay attention to labels and ingredients. This is when it comes to products. Now, one thing I learned was that there's some ingredients, particularly in hair products, that you should stay away from. And when you see them in a product, please put that back on the shelf, or probably don't even bother buying it, because it will save you money and it will also save you damaging your hair or causing you so much more trouble than your hair is already causing you. So there are 4 ingredients that I usually look out for. Number 1 is silicones. Number 2 are sulfates. These are usually, sulfates are common in shampoos. Then you have number 3 is parabens, and number 4 are alcohols. However, there are some alcohols that are actually good. So if you see these, and usually these are products that have those scientific, they have scientific names to the ingredients in a particular product. But let me go back to the alcohols. The good alcohols, there are a couple of bad alcohols like ethanol that are not good for your hair, but there are some that are good. And I came across some that are good. So when you see this in your hair products, don't be quick to put it back on the shelf. Now, one of them is cetyl alcohol, cetyl alcohol, stearyl alcohol, and lauryl alcohol. And these you'll usually see labeled in a particular product when they're listing the ingredients. Also, another thing to note is usually the first ingredients is what comprise much of the product. So if you're seeing water, if you're seeing a particular kind of ingredient that is good for your hair, then that's the kind of product that you want to take. Number 11 is do take care of your ends. Remember, I mentioned this is the oldest part of your hair and therefore the weakest. So make sure when you're applying your products, make sure that you start from the ends, because that's the part that needs the most product, and then work towards your root. Also, make sure that you tuck away your ends, just like I've done with this particular hairstyle, which is the Bantu knot. I twisted the hair and then twisted it round until the last bits were tucked in. So as you can see, my ends are not exposed, and that may be a hindrance on your natural hair journey, because especially if you leave them out, they tend to rub against your clothes and maybe your shoulders or anything else, especially if you have long hair, and that will cause friction and it's going to cause snagging and breakage. So just make sure, even while you're detangling, make sure you start from your ends towards your root, because then the tangles, it becomes easy to remove tangles off your hair. Now the last one, which is number 12, is keep your hair regimen very simple. My hair regimen may not be simple, but especially when you're beginning, you don't want the hassle of being overwhelmed with too many products, too many steps. Keep them as simple as possible. One I'd recommend that is very simple is shampoo your hair, condition, then do a deep condition, and then you do your styling. And there you can do, for instance, whatever hair products you are using, and what is popularly known as the lock method, where L stands for liquid, O stands for oil, and C stands for cream, where it's a process of just layering all these products before you style your hair. So you're leaving your L could be either water or it could be a leave-in conditioner. Your oil can be any oil of your preference that you love, and then your cream could be any cream. So it could be so for me personally, I like shea butter, so that usually acts as my cream, or any kind of butter that you have. So the way you do it is you first apply the leave-in or the water, and then you apply the oil, and then lastly the cream. So it's as simple as that. You don't have to break the bank and you know, buy every single product that has been recommended by you know, lots of YouTubers, probably including myself. And it just helps you to understand. Knowing how to work on your hair will help you even understand what kind of products work for you and what will be good for you, as opposed to being a product junkie and having too many products which you don't even get to use. So just remember to keep it very simple, and you will have such an easy time taking care of your hair. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you loved this video and the tips that I have shared with you. If you know any naturalist out there, share this video with her, or if you know a mother there whose daughter has natural hair, share with her. Or for a couple, even the guys, you know, who have natural hair, do share with them. They probably have one or two things that they'll be able to take away from this video. So that will be all from me today, and continue to subscribe, tell all your friends, and also click that notification button, and you'll be updated on a new video when it's uploaded. See you guys. Bye bye.